Hi guys, this is Captain Tomar of Desh, and again I have Captain Deval along. And today we will be discussing largely emergencies. If you find, any of you face an air, then how do you handle the situation? Let's start with the most common, not common actually, but one of which can actually happen. The way the health of fatigue, health pilots are going through, it is very much possibility. So, Kamdeval, let's talk about if you have an incapacitation. Uh, it could be at the time of takeoff, it could be in cruise. So you can take us through how do you deal with the incapacitation. The way you want to, we'll keep discussing it in
Yeah.
between.
Avdesh, pilot incapacitation.
Which thinks this is such a big thing. If you say to the passenger, pilot behosh ho gaya. Think about that, how they'll feel about it.
Yeah. So, pilot incapacitation is a very time critical situation, where the time is very, very important and it's an emergency. And like if we start, let's say if it happens during takeoff. So, उसके लिए SOPs हैं like 100 knots पे हम लोग check बोलते हैं.
I mean, it varies aircraft to aircraft, but
करेक्ट
normally.
नॉर्मली तो हम लोग टेक ऑफ रोल पे चेक करते हैं कि भाई दोनों पायलट सिंक में है ना. देन अगर वो कॉल्स नहीं आती हैं, लेट्स से जैसे 320 पे 100 नॉट्स पे कॉल नहीं आती है कैप्टन की या फर्स्ट ऑफिसर की, तो देन 110 नॉट्स पे हम लोग वापस से कॉल करते हैं. आई मीन तो बेसिकली चेक करते हैं कि भाई है ना. पर लेट्स से अगर रिस्पॉन्स ही नहीं आ रहा है तो मतलब है कि वन ऑफ द पायलट इज इनकैपेसिटेटेड. So, at that point of time, if you have sufficient runway available, आपका decision speed reach नहीं हुई है, तो you will stop the aircraft.
Yeah, so
And then you will do your, necessary actions.
so
Flight में
basically you were trying to say how do you recognize the incapacity?
yes,
Because in daily routine when you fly, obviously these things doesn't happen so frequently. But if it happens, so that's how the standard operating procedure is.
correct,
Ki if as your speed start developing,
correct,
so you have that SOP ki once your speed reaches 100, the pilot who is flying, he say, so basically the pilot who is non-flying, who is not flying, who is monitoring it, he'll call for 100 knots, right?
yes,
And the pilot flying will say
Check.
checked or cross-check.
correct.
If the response is not received, then that's the time you
Then
can-
maybe, then again you will, look for another check. But then again, if the call is not coming, means कि the other pilot is maybe incapacitated. Yeah. So you will suspect that, but then obviously इतना critical situation है, आप take off कर रहे हो, तो you have to really immediately react on it.
Correct. So basically, at that time, if your speed is, if you have sufficient runway to stop,
Yes.
you will take a decision to stop.
Yes. उसके लिए भी V1 speed होती है. तो V1 से पहले अगर ये सब कुछ आपको पता लगा, रियलाइज हुआ है, तो आप you can stop the aircraft and then you can do the necessary steps and actions. But then you will call Mayday. So
Let's assume situation happens at after speed V1,
yes,
and then you cannot reject because
Absolutely.
distance to stop the aircraft is not available.
yes,
So you have no option but to continue the takeoff.
yes.
So if you continue the takeoff, can you just take us what are you gonna do in that case?
Yeah. So I mean, in such a critical situation, you are the only pilot now. So जो assistance आपको मिलने वाला था, जो important checks थे, वो अभी आपको ही करने पड़ेंगे. तो स्पेशली जैसे ही करते हो आपको लैंडिंग गियर आपको पॉजिटिव क्लाइम जो 320 में कॉल होता है वो नहीं आया, तो आप ही को लैंडिंग गियर ऊपर करना है, आप ही को फ्लैप्स रिट्रैक्ट करने हैं. सो फर्स्ट फ्लाई द एयरक्राफ्ट, फ्लाई द एयरक्राफ्ट, यूज़ द ऑटोमेशन. आप अपने कैप्टन को या फर्स्ट ऑफिसर जो भी इनकैपेसिटेट हुआ है उसको अच्छे से चेक करो कि जस्ट टैप देम. अगर रिस्पॉन्स नहीं आ रहा है तो आप समझ जाओ कि दैट पायलट इज़ रियली इनकैपेसिटेटेड. It's a very critical situation. It's a mayday. आप पहले फर्स्ट यू विल ऑटो पायलट वगैरह ऑन करके सब कुछ अपना कॉन्फ़िगर करके गेयर अप फ्लैप्स स्टार्ट करने के बाद देन यू कॉल ATC, एडवाइज देम, ठीक है, मेडे कॉल करके, एंड देन उसके बाद आपको यू हैव टू कम बैक एंड लैंड एज सून एज पॉसिबल.
So basically, the fundamental again remains same: aviate, navigate, and communicate.
Yes.
So the moment you recognize your colleague is incapacitated or बेहोश हो गया, so you'll continue take off and aviate first. You'll
Yes.
try to stabilize the
Yes.
trajectory of the aircraft.
Yes.
Then you'll navigate the way you were going.
Yes.
And then you will obviously communicate. As you mentioned, it's a mayday call.
Yeah.
Because time critical is. So mayday is basically used wherever you have a time critical situation.
Yes.
Just whoever is not aware.
Yeah.
So for then, let's say you took off, you have stabilized the aircraft trajectory, you have done your after takeoff checks and everything. What are you gonna do after that?
Now I will take assistance. I will call the cabin crew. First, we'll secure. Let's say the first officer is incapacitated. We'll call the cabin crew. We'll secure the first officer. Okay, and we'll take the help of any medical doctor available on board. We'll, if possible, we'll secure the first officer after removing the applets and the wings. We'll secure him in the second row in the cabin. We'll take a help from the doctor.
So
And-
basically, initially you want you want crew to
Yes.
make him conscious if it is feasible.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then if it doesn't work out,
Yes.
try to take him away from the flying control so
Correct.
that it doesn't interfere.
Affect flight controls.
Correct. Okay.
Yes. Then take a help if there is any pilot traveling. Company pilot traveling.
Yeah, these days
on board.
it's something is very common.
Common, yeah.
Every flight you go,
Yes. Yes.
at
yes.
least 5 to 6 your people will be
Yes,
behind,
yes.
deadheading somewhere, or
Correct,
what do
correct,
you call
correct.
it, SOD or whatever.
Correct. And call them in the cockpit, provided they have done the BA. Okay. And then fly, take use full automation, and take radar vectors, take maybe the ILS approach, possibly ILS approach if possible, to reduce the workload, and then land. And
Yeah, so basically what you did, you call the crew.
yeah.
She has secured the your colleague, and then you have asked for any medical practitioner on board
Yes. Yes.
to help him out.
Yes.
Then you were calling for any colleague of yours
Yes.
who is traveling on board.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay, guys. So now probably all of you know that even if one of your pilot is incapacitated, aircraft is still completely safe. The other person who is flying, he is fully trained. He will be able to land the aircraft with efficiently. So next time आप कभी भी travel करो, ऐसा कुछ भी सुनना, tension नहीं लेने का, he'll land properly. Okay, thank you so much. And if you like this kind of videos, please keep watching. We'll have this kind of discussion much more. Just wait for another series of us where we'll discuss further more emergencies related to aircraft.